Good morning, evening, afternoon, or night. Whatever time you're watching this, I hope this recording reaches you well. I'm here at the lovely Mission Grounds here in Evansville, Indiana. And drinking on some green tea, as usual. I'm a man of consistency. I just like what I like. I will here, I guess, experiment in a little bit, but for today, it's definitely a green tea kind of day. I just got back from the gym, and this is my first time actually going to the gym before I record these. And yeah, it was something. I got to work on my food intake and my calories and energy and all that kind of stuff. So it's always a process, man. It's always a process. But yeah, drinking on some green tea. Something I want to mention though here before we really get started and talk about what what the whole theme of this episode is. I flubbed up a couple times on the intro. Messed up a couple times trying to do my intro and say a couple things. And, before I started kicking myself and before I started really getting in my own head and messing things up for the rest of the recording, the future of the recording, I realized I work in television, right? Currently. And what I realized about television was that on a regular basis, people mess things up all the time. Even people who are, been on the air for 20 years mess things up. So that's just a little bit of perspective for you today and for myself to remember that it's fine to mess up. It's fine to get things wrong every once in a while, or even frequently, even every day. It's fine because even professionals, people who've been doing it for decades, longer than I've been alive, still mess things up. So yeah, something else I want to get started here is I want to start talking about our weeks. I want to talk about how our week has been. This is a community here at the Spiritual Net Worth, and I want to talk about how we've done throughout the week, our wins, our losses, how we felt, some things we learned. I want to have all of that shared in the comments. I want to talk about what we're doing here, right? This is like I said, this is a community, so I want to build that. I think it's wonderful. What's the first question you ask to your loved ones when you haven't seen them in a while? Hey, how you doing? How are things? How is this happening? How's that? Maybe you might ask them something specific. I want to get to that point. I want to get to the point where we're all able to hop in the comments and ask each other, how we're doing, right? Give each other pointers and give each other, uplift each other, right? It's beautiful. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I'll tell you how my week was to begin. It's pretty dang good. I got linked up with a couple prospective clients. There you go. Jeez, dude, Rocky. It's rocky out here. I'm going back to what I already said, man. Even professionals do this. They mess up. But got linked up with a couple prospective clients. Worked on some things, sent some things in motion for the rest of 2023. It's beautiful, man. I love that. I got to spend time with my family over the weekend, which is always great. Rode my I got to ride my bike with the boys, which is lovely. It was actually a pretty good day. It was like Saturday when I did that, so it was a pretty nice day out. It's cold, but the sun was out, so it was nice. And I got to double feature at the home theater. I got to double feature a B movie and an A movie, which that's a pro tip, by the way. If you're going to watch two movies, which I highly suggest to watch two movies if you're going to do it, if you're going to watch two movies, back to back, B movie to A movie. Now, if you don't know what a B movie and A movie is, essentially it's basically like a bad movie, like it's so good that or so bad that it's good kind of movie, and then pair that with just a regular old good movie, right? So it's really cool to do that, and I'll get more into that later. But it's really fun to do that, and I did that over the weekend. And it was nice. So I usually would go into more detail there, but I'm going to segue that into the idea of the whole video, which is probably why I clicked on the video, which is craftsmanship. That's what we're talking about today. Craftsmanship is something I've slowly been getting into. It began when I started doing a little bit of woodworking, tiny little bit of woodworking. And I saw somebody making their own utensils somewhere on TikTok, Pinterest, I don't even know nowadays, right? They just get so much media and content your way, you don't even know where you see things anymore. But I just saw it and I was just attracted to it. So whenever I see something I like, typically I just decide to go after it and do it myself. And I brought along a little prop with me today. This right here is actually a utensil I've been working on every time I'm at camp. And if you're watching the podcast, this is I have it up right now. It is I guess if you're listening, I'll describe it. It is a mess. It is very crude. It's very not put together yet, but it's a start. It is very much so a start. It's not finished yet because I exclusively work on this on camping trips, and my wife and I haven't been out to that many camping trips while it's been cold, which I feel ashamed of saying. Like, I don't feel very outdoorsy to say that. Like, oh, we don't like the cold. We want to stay inside. But just the way things have been shaken out. Like the holiday season has been around, and then it's also been cold. So it is what it is. We haven't been out that much. But two of the times I have been camping out in the last few months or a month or two, I've been working on this. So yeah, actually, I initially found this in Southern Kentucky. I found this piece of wood in Southern Kentucky, and then I took my hatchet and just kind of started working away at it. I believe this was pine. I believe so. Yeah, I can't tell anymore, but I believe this was originally pine, and which I don't think is a good wood to even work with. But yeah, it was a down tree, and I just took it up and started working on it. Yeah, so I would like to finish this sometime soon. But yeah, it's my first woodworking project. Just a big old spoon. But yeah, this is what really started my. Where should I put this? Out here? Yeah, I should put it here. That's what really started my fascination with the understanding of craftsmanship itself. Like just beginning to understand, taking time to really, really, really slow down and work, and work on this object here, right? Just to really take time to. I mean, I probably have about 4 hours into this spoon already, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're really just taking time just to be slow and intentional with it, then yeah, it's nice. It's really a nice change of pace. But what I learned about doing this project here, what I learned about this is that it's not really just about the object itself. Pretty much not at all, really. It's not just about that. It's about what happens after it as well, right? So it's not just the spoon that you're crafting here. It's like you create an ambience or a situation or a moment around this. And ultimately what you're doing is you're creating a story, right? This isn't just a regular old spoon I picked up from the store, right? This isn't just a utensil that I needed. It's one that I made. It's one I crafted. It's one that I specifically decided to make it to my parameters and specifications and the way I wanted it to be made, right? And that's a story. Like I've crafted a story around the actual physical object that I've crafted as well. But not just that, I've also crafted an experience around it. So likely, I'm not just going to stop at the spoon. I'm probably going to make a bowl. I'm probably going to make probably going to eat food at camp with this and have like this kind of this experience around it. I'm probably going to have there's more to it. There's even some things that are just kind of like unspoken or hard to describe around it. Just a very simple like the ambiance or something, je ne sais quoi, whatever you want to call it, around the thing that you've crafted, right? And that's really interesting to me. The fact that I have that kind of also comes after you craft something. And then to take it back to what I was talking about earlier, which is the movie, we created a little event out of it, right? Like, we said that we were going to watch some movies over the weekend. So we just decided to kind of upgrade the whole experience, right? Like we can just go over and watch some movies or watch a movie. And I said, you know what, let's watch another movie, right? Let's put a B movie in front of it. Let's put an A movie after it. So we can make the A movie seem better. We can enjoy ourselves and have a lot of fun with the B movie, not take it too seriously. Then we could take the second one seriously, right? Like we can highlight, once again, the craftsmanship of this excellent film by showing a movie that's not that good, but you can still love and appreciate, right? And then we also brought in snacks and all these things, right? So pairing as well. That's another thing that you kind of hear when you talk about other things like maybe, bourbon or cigars and stuff like that, is pairing, right? And we paired those two things, as well as, upgrading it to this on this big old screen. We could have just watched it on some TV and having the surround sound system and having the whole experience, man. Like, just pizza, snacks, all that. And there's a big intentionality set around the thing. And cigar smoking has taught me the same thing, which, by the way, there's definitely a cigar podcast coming up at some point. Probably a couple episodes of that. I've already done a few tests of it, which is nice to kind of relax, smoke a cigar, talk. I pretty much talk up here all day anyway, so to get it out and to have that experience is nice. But yeah, that's definitely happening for sure. So the culture around cigars, at least what I'm seeing so far, is around the craftsmanship that extends into the experience. A part of that of the cigar experience that I've found is kind of respecting the craftsmanship of the cigar itself, of the object itself. I was watching a video from Kirby Allison, which is a great channel. You guys should check it out. And he was talking to Edward and Eddie Sahakian. I believe I've said that correctly. And the video was literally just how to properly respect the object and respect the craftsmanship and the rollers and the preparers. I don't even know what they're really called in Cuba, I believe. God, I sound so ignorant right now. But wherever they prepare these cigars, to respect these artists who are doing these things by really taking the time to slowly, and I mean slowly, light the cigar. And it was wonderful, right? Like, you just respect the rollers, respect the craftsmanship of the object, and honestly, even respect yourself too. Like, respect the ritual of the whole thing. And it's awesome, right? Like, that's just that craftsmanship once again bleeding out into the overall experience of the thing. And I love that kind of stuff, man. It's important. It's important. And the reason why we bring all that back to the spiritual net worth, the reason why we even are talking about this right now, is because, you can probably guess, but you can bring it back to business. That's how I've been operating in my business. That's how I've been working in my business over the last few months, is to craft my back end or my behind the scenes, to craft the actual function of my business to be a work of art, right? I want my business to run like how a Mercedes 300 SL Gullwing from 1954 looks. It's a very specific model of car. Actually, I looked it up just last night. Like, I've seen it before, but I looked up the specific model and year. Look it up if you haven't seen it. It's a Mercedes 300 SL Gullwing from 1954. It's beautiful. I want my business to run how that looks, or how Black Sabbath's Paranoid sounds on vinyl. There's just something about it. It's just, in my opinion, it's just absolutely perfect. It's like, it's just everything from front to back, right? It's that album is just wonderful. You hear it for its full audio quality and the warmth and the quality of that vinyl. God, it's just something about that album, man. Or how your favorite cigar smells when you just pull out the wrapper, right? I want my business to run like that. I want it to be crafted, and I want it to have an experience like that. And actually, well, it extends into the experience as well. So when I show up on set and I do things and I work with clients, I want that craftsmanship to bleed out into that experience, to where when you are sitting under the light just like I am, and you're sitting in front of the camera, I want you to feel like you're a rock star, right? I want you to feel like you are the king of the world. In fact, I'm slowly implementing more and more things to work on that experience. And one of the things I do is, you know what? Never mind. Never mind. I was gonna say something, and I'm gonna keep that one. I'm gonna keep that one close to the chest. I'm working on a lot, man, and you know, things might go, things might come and change, things might go, things might stay, and I don't want to commit to any one thing if it, you know, ends up to being being you know, disadvantageous to me. So I'm gonna keep that one right here. But but the thing is, man, like, however you get down specifically, like however you like, whatever your thing is, there's something out there that you can just respect the crap out of when you look at it, when you feel it, when you touch it, when you smell it, taste it, whatever, right? When you just enjoy your thing. Maybe there's a chair you just really like to sit in, right? I know that might sound silly. Maybe there's a TV you calibrated. I don't know. That's like kind of like one of more my nerdy things, right? Like I'm projecting my own experience onto other people, but who knows, man? Honestly, who knows? Like whatever your thing is, whatever you can really just respect and get behind. That's how I want to run my business. And hopefully that's how you should implement that level of intentionality into whatever you're doing. Could be your business, could be your family, could be your home, could be your food intake, it could be your schedule. I don't know, right? But that to me is it's a really cool thing. It's a really fun and interesting way of thinking about developing and creating things. I think we think more about developing specifically like IPs or anything like that. Like I think we specifically think about developing from a slightly more computational, straightforward kind of sense. Like we're creating these IPs, we're creating these businesses in more of an analytical or data kind of way of doing it, but we don't really think so much about the experience. We don't really think so much about what the story is or how people are going to relate to this thing in some way, shape, or form, and hopefully what they're going to take away from it outside of just value, right? Obviously be value based, but outside of just a tangible value, what do people take away, right? I study brands like Apple here, right? Like I love Apple. Not to do free promotion for Apple, but like I love Apple and I study brands like that. And why are people so viscerally like attracted to that brand? I think, well, I mean, in a very literal sense, this laptop is very well built. The craftsmanship of this machine is beautiful. I think it's actually similar to the Mercedes that I mentioned earlier. It's very similar in build quality or in aesthetics to that from obviously, relative to computers, but still. Like it's beautiful. Like it's a beautiful machine. And I study why people feel that way. Why do people feel that way to Apple instead of Microsoft? Why do people feel that way to Canon, but maybe not, I don't know, Panasonic, right? Like why do people feel that way to certain brands? I study that stuff, man. But yeah, I want to craft my business like that to where I just don't have the experience or the ambience of the situation, which is all very important, but I have a moment and a story. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now, man, in my life. I'm hoping to get to a point, honestly, I'm hoping to get to a point where when people sit down and people enjoy my services and people spend time like involved in the project, it is, because here's the thing, it's what people don't realize about the work that I do is that you are creating a memory outside of just actually, documenting a moment in time for a business or a brand or, an individual or whatever. Instead of just, documenting this history moment in time, you are creating a memory for the person in front of the camera and everyone involved, right? Like it's a highlight, really, honestly, right? Like, can you think of any time you've been in front of a camera and you haven't been like, well, I can picture some instances, but can you think of any time you've been in front of a camera and you're not like, bringing your best, you're not displaying your best, you're putting your best foot forward? No. That's what it's for, in my opinion. And just upgrading that as much as possible, just getting that to a luxury almost place where everyone feels like they're the best, man. It's awesome. But that's pretty much where I'm at right now. That's pretty much the whole idea with that. But yes, I think we should definitely do what I said earlier, which is create this community and have this group of people come around and talk about how our week was. And yeah, so get out there, have a great week. Tell me about it next week. Leave it in the comments and enjoy yourself. Live life.